PHNI, my beloved child, listen to me. My child, I know that you are tired, not just physically tired, but weary deep within your soul. I know there are nights when you lie awake in the darkness, your eyes open, your heart heavy. You don't cry out loud, but inside, something in you is crying. You have prayed many times. You have waited for so long. And there were moments when you quietly asked, Lord, are you still here? Listen to me. In the very moment you feel most abandoned, the Holy Spirit is whispering into your soul, you will be okay. Not because you are strong, not because you deserve it, but because I am with you. I do not always come with thunder. I do not always come with instant miracles. I come in a gentle presence, like the soft whisper Elijah heard not in the wind, not in the earthquake, not in the fire, but in a still, small voice. And in that silence, I am healing you. My child, you think a miracle must look like the Red Sea parting or the dead rising to life. But do you know this? The greatest miracle is when a soul that felt dead begins to hope again. When you keep standing, even though your legs are trembling. When you keep praying, even though doubt fills your heart. When you keep believing, even if all you have left is the smallest spark of light. I once said, blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed. My child, a miracle is coming, but it may not come the way you expect. Sometimes the miracle does not change your circumstances. Sometimes the miracle changes you. I am doing something new within you, not loudly, not for display, but deeply, like a seed buried in dark soil. No one sees it growing, yet in that darkness, life is being formed. You call it delay. I call it preparation. You call it silence. I call it holy work. The Holy Spirit is touching the deepest places of your heart, the wounds you hide, the fears you cannot name, the dreams you buried under disappointment. And He whispers, you are not abandoned. You are not invisible. Your story is not over. My child, I know you are tired of being strong for so long. I know you have carried burdens you were never meant to carry alone. That is why I said, come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Spiritual rebirth does not begin with strength. It begins with letting go. Letting go of trying to save yourself. Letting go of needing to understand everything. Letting go of the fear that if you fall, no one will catch you. Let me catch you. When you are weakest, my grace is sufficient for you. When you feel empty, I will fill you. When you think you have lost everything, I will give you a new beginning. My child, rebirth does not mean becoming someone else. Rebirth means returning to who I created you to be. Before fear, sin, and wounds distorted you. I am not ashamed of you. I am not tired of you. I carried the cross for you, not because you were perfect, but because you are loved. And if you are hearing these words today, this is not an accident. I am calling you not to condemn you, but to embrace you. Trust me just a little longer. Take one more small step. Let the Holy Spirit keep whispering to your heart until that whisper becomes peace. You will be okay. Not because the storm will disappear immediately, but because I am in the boat with you, and where I am present, hope never dies. Part 2. When you can no longer pray, my beloved child, there are days when you sit before me for a long time, but cannot utter a word. Your lips move slightly, but your heart is empty, dry, and weary. You want to pray, but all words seem to vanish. You fear that this silence will sadden me. You fear that I will think you have distanced yourself from me. But my child, listen to me very softly. I have never demanded that you speak beautiful words. I have never loved you for your perfect prayers. I love you, even when you cannot speak. There are times when the only thing you can do is sit there, sigh, and stare into space. And in that very moment, I am very close to you. Your silence is not a distance. Your silence is the deepest prayer. When you no longer have the strength to pray, when you no longer have enough faith to believe that prayer has meaning, the Holy Spirit is interceding for you with groans that cannot be expressed, words you cannot speak, but which I understand completely. Romans 8:26. You do not need to appear strong before me. You do not need to hide your weariness, your disappointment, or even your doubts. I am not the one you must impress. I am the Father, and you are my child. There are days when you think you have prayed too little. There are days when you think you are unworthy to come near me. But, my child, I do not measure your love by the number of hours you kneel. I measure it by, no matter how tired you are, no matter how empty you are, you still return to me and remain. Even if you just sit there in the darkness, without words, without tears, without clear hope, I still see you. I still hear you. I still embrace your soul. Do not fear the days when your faith is weak. Do not be ashamed of the times when you no longer feel me. Even a flickering lamp is still light, and I am the one who never extinguishes that light. My beloved child, when you can no longer pray, just stay with me. That is enough. Part 3. When I am silent, I am still acting, my beloved child. I know you have called my name more than once. I know you have waited more than once. There are prayers you have repeated for months, even years, and all you receive is silence. And in that silence, you begin to wonder, Lord, are you listening to me? Or have I asked for the wrong thing? Am I no longer important enough for you to answer? My child, listen to me slowly, deeply, and clearly. My silence is never absence. I am not silent because I turn my back. I am not silent because I am indifferent. I am silent because I am doing things you cannot yet see. While I am not yet answering, I am laying the foundation within you. For I know, a tall house cannot stand on shallow ground. If I grant you what you ask for too soon, it may become a burden instead of a blessing. There are things you ask for with a sincere heart, but you are not yet ready to bear the consequences. And in love, I choose to wait, to protect you from the very thing you think you need most. Remember that tiny seed. It does not sprout in the bright light. It must fall to the ground, be hidden, be buried deep in the darkness, even die before new life is born. John 12:24. So too, my child, your faith is being formed in the darkness. No one sees it, no one applauds. There is no clear sign, but I am working little by little. You want the answer now. I want your heart to be healed forever. You want me to change the circumstances. I want to transform you within those circumstances. You want the door to open quickly. I want you strong enough to walk through that door without losing yourself. There are miracles I perform in the blink of an eye, but there are miracles I perform in silence. And miracles in silence are often the most profound miracles. My dear child, if you haven't heard the answer today, that doesn't mean I'm not acting. Perhaps I'm arranging things you've never thought of. Perhaps I'm healing wounds that you've lived with for so long. Keep believing, even if you don't see. Keep staying, even if you don't understand. For in my silence, my love is still moving, and I have never left you. Part 4. Miracles don't come from the outside first. My dear child, I know you are looking up, searching for a sign, a visible change, a door opening, a miracle that can be seen, touched, and said. Here it is. God has acted, but my child, let me tell you this. True miracles rarely begin from the outside. They always begin deep within your heart. Before circumstances change, before the pain disappears, before the answer becomes clear, I am silently doing something far greater. I am transforming you. When you choose to forgive, not because you have forgotten, but even though the memory still hurts, that is a miracle. When you dare to hope again, even though your heart has been so disappointed, that is a miracle. When you wake up each day and keep walking, even though you no longer have the strength you once had, even though you are not sure where you are going, that is a miracle. You think a miracle is when I take away your pain instantly, but sometimes a miracle is when pain no longer rules you. You think a miracle is when the darkness disappears, but sometimes a miracle is when you learn to walk in the darkness without fear as before. I did not come only to heal your body. I did not come only to fix your circumstances. I came to revive your soul. For if your soul is healed, then even though the world around you is still turbulent, you will stand firm. My dear child, do not underestimate the small changes in your heart. Don't think that because nothing great has happened yet, I haven't acted. Every time you choose to love instead of resent, every time you choose to trust instead of despair, every time you don't give up, I am working a miracle within you, and at my appointed time, what I have begun within will bear fruit outwardly. Part 5. I know you've been hurt, my dear child. I know there are wounds you've never named, not because you've forgotten, but because every time you remember, your heart aches. There are memories you bury deep in silence, wishing they had never existed, wishing time could turn back just once. There are words others have said to you, and you've carried them with you for years. Words that made you doubt your own worth. Words that made you believe you weren't good enough, not worthy of love, not worthy of being chosen. My child, listen to me gently. I carried all of that to the cross. I didn't stand aloof and watch your pain. I didn't just know about suffering through stories. I walked into it. I have wept. I have been betrayed by those I loved. I have been rejected, misunderstood, abandoned. I have been beaten, mocked, and crucified in utter solitude. And it was in those moments that I bore your pain. So, my child, when you think, no one understands me, remember that I understand you more deeply than anyone else. Not a single tear of yours falls without my sight. Not a single night you weep silently in the darkness without me being there. There are pains you have become accustomed to living with, to the point that you think they are a part of you. But I tell you, pain is not your identity. Wounds are not your future. I am not in a hurry to force you to be okay immediately. I do not blame you for still hurting. I only invite you to draw a little closer to me. Let me touch the places you fear most. Let me enter the memories you avoid, not to hurt you further, but to heal you from the root. My dear child, you are not alone in your suffering. You have never had to bear it alone. I was there. I am here. And I will be with you until those wounds no longer define you. Part 6. The Silent Rebirth. My dear child, do not seek rebirth in fleeting, flamboyant emotions. Do not think that I only act in moments of intense emotion, when your heart trembles, when tears flow, when you feel instantly transformed. My child, true rebirth comes very quietly. It is not noisy. It is not ostentatious. It needs no witnesses. Rebirth begins on the morning you don't want to get up, but still step out of bed. On the day you are so tired you can't even pray, but still whisper in your heart, Lord, I am still here. It comes when you choose to get up again. Not because you are strong, but because you don't want to give up as before. It comes when you choose to trust me for one more day, even though you haven't seen anything change, even though you still have many unanswered questions. It comes when you decide not to let darkness define you, not to let the past have the last word, not to let pain decide who you will become. My dear child, I am not in a hurry. I am not tearing you down to rebuild from scratch. I am silently recreating you from within. Every thought is healed. Every fear is removed. Every crack is filled with grace. You may not realize it every day, but believe me, you are no longer the person you were yesterday. Just as the dawn doesn't come in a moment, but the light gradually spreads, your rebirth is happening in the same way. My child, I am creating a new person within you, little by little, with tireless love and with a presence that never leaves. Part 7. You are not alone. My dear child, there are times when you look around and see only yourself. You walk in silence, carrying thoughts no one hears, burdens no one sees, and you think, perhaps I am walking alone. But my child, let me tell you the truth. You have never walked alone, even when you do not feel me. Even when your prayers seem to fall into the void, I am still there, not retreating, not standing afar watching. I am holding your hand. There are paths I walk ahead of you, clearing the way you have not yet seen. There are paths I walk beside you, so that when you stumble, you will not fall alone. And there are paths I carry you, when you are too tired to continue. You don't always recognize my presence, but my presence doesn't depend on your feelings. It is founded on my promise, and I have promised I will be with you always to the end of the age. Matthew 28-20. I don't say those words when things are going well and then forget them when things get tough. I don't stay when you're strong and leave when you're weak. I am with you in the days when you believe strongly. I am also with you in the nights when you doubt. I am with you when you move forward, and I am still with you when you stand still, not knowing where to go. My dear child, if you feel lonely today, remember that this feeling is not the final truth. The truth is, I am here. I know every step you take. I see every tear you shed. With every weary breath you exhale, I hear. You are not alone. You have never been alone, and you will never be alone again. Part 8. When the darkness is no longer fearful. My dear child, I know you used to fear the darkness, not because it was noisy or violent, but because it was so silent, a silence that made things you tried to forget suddenly resurface more clearly than ever before. In the darkness, unanswered questions arose. In the darkness, old memories returned to knock on your soul's door. In the darkness, you could no longer hide from yourself, and that is what frightened you. But my child, let me whisper softly to you. Darkness is not where I am absent. Darkness is where I most often work. You think that I am only present in the bright light, where everything is clear, where you feel safe and in control. But I too am in the long night, where you can no longer see the way, where you can only take small steps with faith. It was in that night that I knelt in prayer at Gethsemane, my heart heavy, sweat like drops of blood falling to the ground. No one understood. No one stayed to keep watch with me, but my Father was there. It was in that dark, cold tomb, when everyone thought it was all over, that new life silently began to rise. No sound, no dazzling light, but power was at work. Likewise, my child, when you can no longer see the way ahead, that does not mean you are lost. Perhaps I am leading you in a way that your eyes are not yet accustomed to. The darkness does not come to devour you. It comes to teach you to listen, to separate you from unnecessary noise, so that you may realize that you do not live by what you see. Do not fear the darkness anymore, my beloved child, for light does not fear darkness. Light does not flee from darkness. Light, and I am that light. Part 9. When you realize you are being healed, my dear child, healing rarely comes like a bolt of lightning tearing through the sky. It's not noisy. It doesn't overwhelm you in an instant. It comes very quietly, so that sometimes you don't even notice. Until one day, you stop in the midst of everyday life and suddenly realize something small but profound. You no longer react as you used to. The words that once hurt you deeply no longer pierce your heart as they once did. The situations that once made you panic are now just a gentle wave. You no longer hurt as you used to. Not because you've become numb, but because the pain no longer controls you. You no longer despair as you used to. Not because all your problems have disappeared, but because you are no longer facing them alone. My child, healing doesn't mean forgetting. I didn't come to erase your memories. I came to heal the meaning of those memories. The things that once told you, you're not good enough. You don't deserve it. You'll never get through it. I am replacing them with my truth. Memories once tied to pain are now gradually covered by grace. They are no longer open wounds, but become marks of survival, of the love that has kept you going. You may not realize it step by step, but believe me, each day you continue to live, continue to love, continue to believe. However fragile, you are being healed. And my beloved child, what once brought you down will no longer be a place of shame. These will become the places where I manifest my grace most clearly, for it is in your weakness that my power is made perfect. Part X. When faith is no longer an emotion. My dear child, I know there are days when you don't feel my presence. Days when your prayers are heard, but your heart is empty and dry. Days when faith is no longer a comfort, but more like an obligation you must fulfill. And you begin to wonder, is my faith weakening? Have I done something wrong? My child, listen to me slowly. True faith does not live by emotions. Faith lives by faithfulness. Emotions come and go like ocean waves. Some days they rise high. Some days they are calm. But my love for you does not change with your emotions. Even when you don't feel I love you, I still love you completely and unconditionally. Even if you don't hear my voice, I am still speaking through my word. Through the little things you often overlook. Through the very strength that keeps you standing another day. There are steps of faith that don't feel particularly special. No tremor, no tears, no excitement, just a quiet decision. I will keep going. And my dear child, it is these steps that constitute mature faith. Faith doesn't grow when everything is clear. Faith grows when you keep walking even when you don't see the path. When you choose to stay, when you choose to trust, when you choose not to turn back even without emotions to support you. I'm doing something profound in your soul. My child, if today your faith is just a quiet choice, know that I cherish it. For it is in this quiet faithfulness that your faith is being refined and my love continues to sustain you step by step. Party effin'. I am preparing you for something greater. My dear child, I know there are times when you feel you are being slowed down, as if everyone around you is moving forward, while you stand still, held back in inexplicable silences. You ask yourself, Lord, why do I have to wait? I am ready. But my child, let me tell you the deeper truth. I am making you deeper. For what I have planned for your life cannot be carried by a shallow heart. It requires a heart forged through trials, a soul that has learned humility in silence, a faith that is not easily broken when strong winds rise. You see waiting as a delay. We see it as preparation. There are things that, if they come too soon, will make you arrogant. There are things that, if they come when you are not ready, will bring you down. Because I love you, I would rather let you wait than let you lose yourself. In days when progress seems impossible, I am working deep within you. I am removing what does not belong to you. I am teaching you to distinguish between what you want and what you truly need. My dear child, I am not delaying you. I am protecting you from burdens you are not strong enough to carry, from victories that could lead you astray. And then one day, when my time comes, all doors will open at once. You will enter into what I have prepared with a peace you have never known. Then, you will look back on the journey of waiting and whisper to yourself, "Now I understand. Because I did not slow you down, I prepared you for something greater." Part 12. The final promise. You will be aware, my dear child. Let me tell you this one last time without haste, without conditions, without demanding that you be stronger or better than before. You will be all right. Not because everything in your life will become easy, not because you will no longer have pain or tears, but because from now on, you will no longer walk alone. I have been with you in your darkest days, days when you thought you couldn't bear it anymore. I was there when you fell, when you doubted yourself, when you thought you were forgotten. I am with you right now, in the breath you exhale, in the beat of your heart, in the little things you think are insignificant. And my beloved child, I will also be with you in days you do not yet know, days you cannot imagine, days that will bring both trials and grace. Therefore, rest in me. Not rest because all your problems have disappeared, but because you no longer have to strain yourself. Trust me a little more. Even if your faith is as small as a mustard seed, even if you can only manage to say, "Lord, I am still here." Let the Holy Spirit continue to whisper in you through unexpected peace, through a gentle comfort, through the quiet strength that helps you move forward. My beloved child, your story is not over. The painful pages are not the last. The dark chapters are not the end. For I am the one who began this story, and I am also the one who will complete it with unchanging love, with inexhaustible grace, and with a promise that will never fail. You will be all right. So before you go, before you return to the noise of the world, pause for just a moment. Take a slow breath and remember this. You are not here by accident. You did not hear these words by chance. At this very moment, God is closer to you than you realize. Whatever you are facing, whatever you are carrying, whatever you are afraid to name, you do not have to face it alone. Even now, the Holy Spirit is still whispering to your heart, softly, gently, faithfully. You will be okay. Not because life will suddenly become easy, not because every answer will come at once, but because God is walking with you into what comes next. So rest tonight. Release what you cannot control. Trust what you cannot yet see. And when the darkness feels heavy again, remember this moment. Remember that you were seen, you were heard, you were loved. And the story God is writing in your life is far from finished. Go in peace, go in hope, and never forget you are held.